all my friends are reading the podcast for The Busy Bookworm. Is there a book that your entire friend group is talking about and you just can't keep up? Are you wondering who the new, dark boy of literature is right now? This podcast is for you. So sit back and enjoy Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I'm here today with my friend Maya.
Hi.
So Maya, we are friends.
Yes, Wiley. We are in fact friends. IRL.
Would you like to tell the Busy Bookworms how we became friends?
Yes. All right. Without giving too many sordid details of our love lives, a few years back, I went with the person I was dating to Family Hanukkah, and I met this really awesome person who was also there with her partner. So TLDR, I refer to you sometimes as my sister-in-law because that's the closest thing I can use to describe it that people easily understand. Right? I was dating the sibling of your partner, and we bonded over wine, and wow, this is an interesting family dynamic y'all have here. Cool. We don't know anything that's happening. We're the two non-Jewish people here. Great. And we've been friends ever since.
I am so happy that you call me your sister-in-law because I sometimes say, this is my person-in-law, my sibling-in-law to people.
Yes.
I'm
Maya's pronouns are they, them.
Yes, Maya, they, them. Sometimes we refer to them as the magistrate.
Do we? Is that my title? The magistrate?
Prime Minister.
Ooh.
General.
Oh, Captain, my captain.
Oh, Captain, my captain. So have you heard about Fourth Wing?
I have seen the book cover art in my Audible queue and recommended on Amazon, but that is it.
Okay. And are you somebody who likes fantasy books? What would you want the Busy Bookworms to know about your reading habits?
Ooh. I have been leaning a little bit more towards science fiction and horror over fantasy these days, especially when I was growing up. I loved fantasy. Give me some Tolkien, high fantasy. Give me some Ursula Le Guin. Give me Frank Herbert's Dune. I think that all of these, really big scale space operas are also kind of more fantasy than sci-fi just because of the themes involved. But so that's my fantasy approach and background. Okay. Excited to hear more about this book.
Well, all that knowledge is going to be really helpful in understanding Fourth Wing because it is a book that I think would be a hard introduction into fantasy if you didn't already have some kind of background knowledge in fantasy. Because I do think fantasy asks you to suspend belief a lot.
Yeah.
And I think with everything that's going on in here, it's really important to kind of have some sort of fantastical background. That could be literally anything that uses magic or dragons, but
yep.
So Fourth Wing is actually a book which is termed high fantasy. Mm-hmm. And for our Busy Bookworms, that means that it's just kind of medieval based. So low fantasy is more urban, things that are set in present day. High fantasy is what you think of when you think of Lord of the Rings. That is high fantasy. So Fourth Wing is going to be a high fantasy book. Okay, so Maya, I'm going to give you some premise about this book so that you and the Busy Bookworms can be ready to dive into Fourth Wing and the plot. So we are in the Kingdom of Navarre, which hosts 6 provinces in them. So it's about 6 kingdoms, 6 provinces. And way back in time, the dragons and the griffins were fighting, and eventually they both picked where they were going to live. There was dragons in the west, and there were griffins in the east. And there are dragon riders, and there are griffin riders. We are going to be focusing on the dragon riders, which is why you see on the cover of Fourth Wing, there are dragons and not griffins.
Excellent. All right.
So the dragon's magic help keep wards around Var. Things that are on the outside of the wards can't get in. It says there are some bad things that live outside of Navarre.
Do we know what these are?
We will eventually. We don't currently know what they are, but we know that people are safe within the boundaries of Navarre.
Okay.
And
so how big is Navarre? And these 6 provinces inside of it?
I'm glad you asked. So here is a map. And for Busy Bookworms, this will be available on my Instagram should you want to look at this map. It's pretty big. So this is Navarre on this west side. There's something called the Barrens, which is abandoned by everybody. No one lives there.
Excellent. Okay. Okay.
Um,
And there's like a big mountain range, it looks like in the middle, that divides Navarre from its neighbors to the east, if that direction still makes sense in this context.
I would say yes. Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this map is going to be helpful, but at the same point, I am not the best map reader.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you got to know is dragons to the west, griffins to the east, and there's a big barren area. In my mindscape, Navarre is kind of like Asia,
Okay.
where there are big countries and you could theoretically get around Asia, but it's going to take you a while and there's lots of trade routes going across countries.
Okay.
I think the author draws more on like Gaelic and Irish for their high fantasy, but it is
A larger
a large,
scale.
yes.
Okay. Cool.
10 years ago, there was a rebellion by one of these kingdoms that was quickly smashed by Navarre and our main character's mom, who is the general of Navarre. She smashed the rebellion. She is a kind of a celebrated war hero.
All
But
right.
at the same point, our main character, her brother died during this by the ruler of the rebellion, whose last name is Riordson. And he had a really cool dragon power that was called mending, which is just healing.
Wait. Okay. Before we get to dragon powers, what is our main character's name?
Thank you. It's going to lead us right into the next thing because you have to get all this established. So, our main character, her name is Violet Sorengale.
Violet Sorengale. All right.
She has dark hair that ends in silver tips, and it sounds like it's natural by how much her mom like gives her shit about it. So Violet has actually trained to be a scribe for her whole life, like her dad. So her two older siblings have trained to be dragon riders. She was trained to be a scribe, and when we meet her, her mom has decided that she's going to be a dragon rider.
Okay. Okay. So what does a scribe do and what does a dragon rider do?
Great questions. So in Fourth Wing, there's kind of like a military hierarchy. Like the whole point of this kind of hierarchy is to defend Navarre.
Yeah.
So dragon riders.
You have to have like the Imperial Guard.
Right. So dragon riders at the top, and it's really, really hard to become a dragon rider. Like only a quarter of the people who enter into the training survive, and even a smaller amount become dragon riders.
All right. Okay. Intense.
So scribes keep the history of Navarre. So Violet would be essentially underground, reading tombs, a like really awesome librarian who didn't have to ride dragons.
The introvert's life or the life of adventure.
So a couple things about Violet is that she is really short and she has a disability that's never defined, but people believe is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Essentially, it's a chronic condition that affects the body's connective tissue. So, like, her knee comes displaced all the time. She often, like, gets her shoulder out of place and she has to get it together. And if you're going to be a dragon rider, those things are, like, so important that you don't look weak.
Yeah.
Because the dragons might not pick you if you are weak. Or, like, people around you might just want to kill you because they're like, you're making us weaker. You got to get out of here.
Yeah, especially if you're in like a military hierarchy that presumably relies upon like physical strength and prowess.
Yes, yes. And okay, one thing that like I know if you're into like fantasy, sometimes the small girl is like really super strong and she can do anything and like wow, like she's tiny, 5'2", thin, and still can take down a dragon. That's not Violet Sorengale. She has to really work with her condition and she has to really work with her height because those things do affect her. And I think that's a really good thing that Yaros did in the book.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds like a like nuanced, realistic sounding portrayal of having a disability and also being in this position of presumably prestige. She's the protagonist. I don't know what the story happens, but tell me more.
So she's gonna enter into the Dragon Riders. Her sister is really, really against it. Her older sister's name is Mira. And Mira is like, this is a death sentence for you. Like you are like so hurt and impacted by everything. But she wants her sister to have the best chance of life because that's what siblings do.
Aww.
I think my sibling would want me to have the best chance of life. I don't know. something to text them later. So Mira gives Violet a vest of scales from her own dragon for protection, and she gives her grippy shoes.
Grippy shoes? Tell me more. I love this.
They're like, if you were going to be someone on a tightrope, they might have grippy shoes to keep them on.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
And then Mira also gives her one piece of advice. She says, everyone wants to kill you, but especially avoid people with rebel marks and avoid Xaden Riordan, who is the son of the leader that Mom killed.
Oh, forbidden love, forbidden love.
And find Dane. And that is a childhood friend of hers.
Okay.
He will keep you safe.
All right. Okay. I don't think I had realized that this is at the cusp of Violet setting out for somewhere, right? Like, this sounds very much like final words, the last farewell at the keep before you set out on the hero's journey.
Yeah. So there's...
Okay. Awesome.
If Violet makes it into the academy, she will not be allowed to talk to anybody outside the academy for at least a year.
Oh, wow. Okay. So she's expected to be gone for how long then? At least a year? Longer?
3 years is the total time to become a dragon rider.
Okay. All right.
Any initial predictions?
It very much feels like almost a classic coming of age, going away for vocational training, school, what have you, learning this magical world and yourself. I predict some sort of like forbidden love that seems very clearly set up. And I am hoping that the portrayal of this character who has a disability and has some physical limitations is more nuanced and respectful than just like a thing to make this going away to school coming of age narrative different from other going to school coming of age narratives.
You're only elevating the podcast right now. It's mostly a gossip podcast.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Really I'm just like, I wanted to give me some literary critique, bitches. All right. Okay. I'm sorry.
That's a really good question. And I'm like, you'd have to read it. I'm going to tell you, this podcast, we lose a lot of nuance. This was a 700-page book.
I'm sorry.
I read this whole book in one day, let me tell you.
Moving on. You read a 700-page book in one day? Damn, girl.
Dude, I felt like I was in middle school again. I was like, is this what it means to dissociate for 7
hours? Is it because it was really juicy?
Yes. I would say the first 100 pages were like kind of hard to get through. And then after that, I was like locked in.
Okay.
So even to get into the school, she has to walk along a thin parapet, and it's raining, and it's like 500 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
So most of it, like half the cadets die at this point because they just fall off.
Yeah. This
sounds
like a really inefficient system. Presumably, these are really awesome people you want to send to this school, and they're all just dying. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, you come to my first point, Maya, which is why I never truly understand when books are like, we have to weed out the weak. When I'm like, it sounds like some of these cadets would have served very well in other parts.
Right?
But if you want to be the elite, I guess you gotta kill some other people. I don't know. So there's a woman she's walking with whose name is Rhiannon. And Violet splits her shoes with her because she's compassionate. She just saw her.
So they each have like one grippy shoe.
One grippy shoe. And there's also this guy behind her whose name is Jack, who hears that she's a Sorrengail. And being a Sorrengail is a big deal because she's the daughter of the renowned general.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of people want to kill her.
Oh, this isn't a like, you're kind of like royalty because you're the general's daughter. This is very much a, you're the competition and we want to see you go down. All right. Somebody's going to push someone.
She has to prove that she is like worthy of being a Sorrengail, essentially. This isn't a place where title gets you a whole lot. And so Jack is like determined to kill her. He hears this and that's the first thing. He's like, I'm going to kill this. And as she gets onto the parapet, like they give like a little like pause between each person.
Yeah, you can't just like have two people on the parapet. They're going to push each other off.
Well, you don't get that long up here. It's very long. It's like walking between like more than just buildings. It's like walking across, I don't know, several streets.
So there's going to be some shit fuckery afoot.
There's going to be some shit fuckery afoot. And as she gets up and she tells her name to the person standing there, he looks up and she realizes that's Xaden.
Oh, good. The
Uh,
guy she wasn't supposed to like interact with.
uh-huh,
Cool.
uh-huh. Right off the bat. Someone already wants to kill her and she meets Xaden.
Rad. Awesome. You're having a great
Yep.
first day.
She and Rhiannon both are crossing the parapet, and behind her, Jack is like chasing her. He's like pushing people off the parapet. Like,
Oh, shit.
this guy is like,
My dude.
he doesn't have a whole lot of backstory, but Jack is like determined to
He
kill
doesn't have a
Violet.
whole lot of backstory. I'm guessing he dies spectacularly.
I love this prediction. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, come on. You're going into a lot of detail about this guy, and he has very little backstory.
Oh, okay.
Spectacular death.
Wow, look at you. You should be a Sherlock Holmes. And so then once Violet gets off the parapet, she makes it. She like holds a knife up to Jack's balls and is like, come any closer and I will fucking take your manhood.
I mean, should have done it. If you have the opportunity, just slice him. Don't give him a second chance.
So Violet, this is one of the things that's going to keep coming up about Violet is that she's very compassionate and she's very merciful. And that is
Oh.
really at odds a lot with what the Dragon Riders are known for, where it's a
Mhm.
system where you half people die getting in.
Right.
Like they didn't even hold off until it wasn't raining anymore. They're like, fucking do it in the rain.
Okay.
So Violet was at the end of the people coming in. So Xaden has now crossed the parapet and he's like, she could do it. Like she's in full right to take your balls right now. And so then Jack second thinks it and he steps away from her.
Okay.
So Xaden is a third year, which means that he has a lot of leadership there.
Mhm.
And so Violet being a first year has to listen to second years, then has to listen to third years.
Yep. Okay. Kind of like classic boarding school hierarchy setup. All right.
Basically, yeah, Xaden's a senior and she's a sophomore.
Mhm.
Except in this, Violet is 20 and Xaden is 22, 23.
Okay. All right. So we're like a little bit like a college kind of setup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So she finds Dane. Dane sees her. And this is her childhood friend. And she is so excited. But he's like really worried because he knows about Violet. And he's like, what? Dude, you're supposed to be a scribe right now. Like, why are you here?
Mhm.
And Violet's like, my mom sent me here. Like, I have to be here. And he's like, no. We're going to get you out. We're going to get you out. We're going to send you to the scribes. And Violet's like, no, my mom is the general. She has a lot of power. She's really close to the king. She will know and she'll make me come back. And then I'll
Yeah.
look weak in front of everybody.
So, okay, so Violet is bought into being there. She
Mhm.
doesn't want to be, but she knows she has to be or feels like she has to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so Dane reaches for her face and he suddenly stops. And he says, you know, my dragon that I bonded with lets me read people's minds, and he doesn't touch her face. He's like, I'm so sorry. And Dane then has Rhiannon and Violet placed under his wing for all of their training.
Placed under his wing. Is this metaphorical or literal?
I love
Because I
that.
could imagine this also being like cuddling with the dragon's wing at night, like just your
Oh.
sleeping quarters are just like nestled in this dragon's wings.
I'm gonna be honest, these dragons are not like cuddle dragons. So under his wing.
Anything's a cuddle dragon if you try hard enough.
Oh, are you a cuddle dragon?
Try hard enough.
And what that means essentially is that there is riders quadrants and they are divided into 4 wings. This is kind of like the people that you are fighting with. It's a little bit like Hogwarts dormitories. It's just their dividing system. Like Divergent had, those 4 personality
Oh,
traits.
yeah. Okay, cool.
They're quadrants. There's nothing about personality in these, but the 4 quadrants, so there are 4 wings, and each wing is divided into 3 sections: flame, claw, and tail.
All right.
And so Violet is in 4th wing, the name of the book, and she's in the tail section.
Ah, okay. I'm guessing like 4th wing, tail section, based on their hierarchy. I'm assuming this feels like a pretty low position.
I think it does, but it also doesn't really play into the book.
Okay, cool.
She doesn't have to climb her way up to 1st wing flame. It's just kind of like where she is as a newbie under Dane. And Dane's quadrant is under, would you like to take a guess?
Is it the boy she's not supposed to love?
Xaden.
Ah,
So they are at what is called like
formation, which is like what they're going to meet at every morning. And like they list like the name of the dead every morning. This is like the start of their day. And as they're meeting for the first time, like Zayden is like giving the speech to all the new hopeful like dragon riders because he's the wing leader. And as he's giving the speech, this huge, giant blue dragon lands behind him. And it's like intimidating and scary. And Violet's like a little scared, but she's like, I can't show that I'm scared right now because like that's Zayden. And I'm not going to be intimidated because I'm a Sorengale.
So I'm going to show you a picture of Zayden since we met him. What do you think about Zayden?
Ooh, we look like a bad boy. We've got an eyebrow scar. We have a neck tattoo. We have some thick curly hair. Definitely
Mhm.
good bad boy type. In terms of like vibes, I'm getting kind of like sexy bad boy. Yeah, here for it. All right.
There's a lot of people who are into Zayden, who's the bad boy, and Dane's kind of like the boy next door.
All right. Great, great, great. Classic love triangle
Okay.
setup.
The other thing to know about Dane is that he's a huge rule follower, and he is really really
As a
believes.
Capricorn, I relate.
Oh, do you really? Okay, maybe Dane's a Capricorn.
Hmm. Astrology friends, get on this.
So I guess that would make Zayden kind of like a Scorpio.
Okay. All right. Yes. I love this. I love this framework. Let's go.
So before we get too into the book, I'd like to tell you some dragon rules because now dragons are going to play a much larger part. The dragons actually in this book come super early, which is great. You're not spending the whole book wondering when is she going to get her dragon. It's going to come sooner than you think.
All right. Okay.
So dragons come in different colors, and the different colors mean different things. I'm not going to go through all of them because there was a lot there. I also read all of it in 700 in one day, all 700 pages, and it did not stick.
Yep. Okay.
So keep this in mind that blue and black are very rare dragons, and orange and brown are the most common.
Okay.
All dragons are good dragons.
Great.
So there's not one dragon where you're like, oh, I'm bummed to get orange. You're just happy to get a fin dragon.
As you should be. They're fucking dragons.
Dragons and riders bond, and it's always at the opinion of the dragon. So the dragon is always higher than the person. The person cannot really make their dragon do anything they don't want to do.
Okay.
Dragons like tolerate humans.
Okay. 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 So is this like a two-way street of like a monogamous responsibility and assistance? Or is this kind of like the dragons like, yeah, you're my person for now, I guess. And some of the dragons become fond of their friends.
I love that you're always into consent. You're like, are they both agreeing to this?
I mean, and power dynamics.
Dragons don't have to bond. They are volunteering to bond. So I think in this book, there's like 50 dragons that are going to bond, and there's like 100 cadets. So
Okay. Okay.
not everyone's going to get a dragon, and dragons are stronger with riders and vice versa.
Okay.
But dragons are always stronger than humans. Dragons can bond multiple times over their lives, but each rider they are bonded with is stronger than the last. So there's a time where if a rider dies, the dragon could die, whereas the dragon dies, the rider dies.
All right.
Yeah, so dragons can have multiple riders. Riders can only really have one dragon.
Okay.
Dragons give their riders powers, but it's not the same power per rider. So you're not like, ooh, I'm gonna get this guy because he's gonna give me fire power.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's based off the person's personality, I guess.
All right.
Yes, those are our dragon questions. Rules so far. You any questions?
Okay. So Dane's dragon's power lets Dane read minds.
Yes, only if he touches your face.
Okay. Are there other significant dragon powers and bonds we should know about? Or are those revealed through the course of the book?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you what Zayden's are because in this series you don't share your powers if they are ones that could be really, really powerful.
Ah, so you keep them a secret if they're
Mhm.
like high enough quality.
Yes. So
Okay.
not a lot of people know about Dane's power. And not a lot of people know about Zayden's power, which is darkness. I know.
Ooh, the bad boy
Ooh.
bringing some darkness. Ooh, I can sense the tension. Okay.
I know, it's kind of like
Yeah, are we reading the like juicy romantic subplot into this or is this like actually there?
both.
Great.
Because like he's telling the other rebel children, like, do not touch her, like she's mine. And like that's both threatening and sexy.
Love it.
You know, because at first, Violet's like, this dude wants to fucking kill me.
Maybe he wants to fuck and kill you. It's fine. Things can be two things.
You know, I do believe that happens in your life a lot. So they call you the Black Widow.
Yes, all those dead ex-husbands. There's only 4.
And the one dead ex-wife.
Don't worry about it.
Is that so Xaden as a child of a rebel, because remember his dad led the rebellion, so Violet's mom killed his dad, and his dad killed her brother.
Okay, this is such a like intensely kind of militant and hierarchical system. How is this dude even like alive to come to Dragon Rider school?
Great question.
How has nobody killed him yet? How is he like allowed to be here?
So that's a good question, because 1, it shows how strong he is, because people really want to kill him too. And 2, all of the rebel children, so anybody who's under 18, was told that they have to be conscripted into the military. So there's even somebody who is 6 years old, or no, like 10 years old. They're very small.
Oh my God.
Who has this tattoo and knows that they're going to be conscripted into the Dragon Riders. And that was a deal that Xaden, being the oldest of the rebel children, made with the Navarre army.
So that's why he's a bad boy with a neck tattoo. Okay. All right.
So there's
is a like political sign and also like a status sign, it sounds like.
Yeah, so basically it's like he will be maybe a dragon rider, but it's also one of the quickest and easiest ways to kill him without looking horrible for killing 25 people under 18.
Yikes. Okay.
So the one who...
It's a dark world we're in.
It is a dark world. So there are other people with rebel tattoos, but Xaden is the oldest. So he's in the third wing.
Okay.
So Basgiath works as kind of like a normal school, except for, you know, the fighting and the dragons. But it has like morning formation where they're meeting together. They read the list of the dead. Then they have classes and they have physical classes. And then throughout the entire year, they're going to have like games that they have to play. They're just kind of thrown in there for, honestly, the plot. But that's going to be like Violet's normal day. And what we're working through is this like year-long school schedule.
So Violet excels in academics. Obviously, she was trained to be a scribe. She's very smart, but struggles with the physical side. So she is training with Rhiannon, and then she tutors her. Rhiannon is also gay and is hooking up with a second year, which she's not supposed to do. But we like it.
Cool. Okay. All right.
And so they also have all these physical matches where they're trying to prove their strength, and they are paired up against people. And Violet needs to prove that she's strong enough and to show people that she's not going to get like her ass beaten, or kind of let people know that she has this disability, because if they do, they'll use it against her.
Yeah.
So Violet, being a little sneaky, has started to learn people's allergies and different poisons, and she starts to poison them before each match.
Amazing. Okay. All right. Sneaky, like peanut dust, like... Okay,
she's working in the cafeteria and she sees who she's going to fight, and she's like, here's some peanut dust.
Rude.
I know, but she's doing great. And
so she's like doing the thing that she's afraid of other people doing to her.
I would say nobody dies from her poisoning.
Okay, good. Great. Wonderful.
She's also getting a little too confident with the poisoning that she's not actually making herself as strong as she could be.
Okay. So she's relying on this crutch.
And one night she is gathering bark for this poison, and she sees Xaden meeting with other rebel children, which is against code. The rebel children cannot gather in more than groups of 2.
Okay. This is some dark shit. Okay.
And it looks like he's tutoring them. He's giving them some advice, and they all kind of look up to him like a big brother. Xaden catches her, and he's like threatening to kill her, but Violet agrees to not tell anybody that the rebels are meeting, because she is once again compassionate, but also she's like, I also need a hand up here. And it looks like you're just giving them training advice. So I just let you know that people are dying a lot in this, that I'm not going to go through all of them. If your favorite character is missed, I am so sorry. But there are just a lot of deaths that happen.
Is this like a George R.R. Martin situation? Like you meet them, you love them, they're going to be horrifically murdered?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So now they're training for the gauntlet, which is this really high mountaintop that you have to be able to climb over to get to where the dragons are.
Yes. How many people die at the gauntlet?
A lot. It's a really high mountain. Do you remember something about our main character Violet that might make the gauntlet kind of hard?
The fact that they have a connective tissue disorder and also they're short and, their joints might just come out of whack sometimes.
Yeah, they are very short. And there's parts of the gauntlet that they cannot reach.
Oh, yeah.
So she's trying to figure out how to climb. She's trying to figure out how to jump. And eventually she starts to do the last part of the climb with her knife. There is
Get
right?
it.
That kind of badass. Her hands are like bleeding. She is like, I'm going to get a dragon and prove myself here.
Fuck yeah.
She doesn't climb up all the way up the mountain with the knives, but the last part that she cannot reach.
Yeah. Why the fuck not? Use all of your available resources.
Oh,
Too bad if somebody else didn't think of it.
I love that you bring that up. Oh my god, it's almost like I led you right into that.
Hey!
There is a wing leader that has a problem with it. Her name is Amber. Fucking Amber. And she says,
I'm sorry if your name is Amber. I kind of automatically hate you. I'm so sorry. I realize that this is very judgmental of me, and also it's just in my bones.
Just how it is. So Amber's like, you can't do that. You can't bring tools to this. And Violet's like, no, I carried this on my person on the parapet. Technically, they're a part of me.
Yeah.
There's a rule that says whatever you can carry across the parapet is yours.
Oh, great. Wonderful.
So she uses the knives, and Xaden's like, she's got you there, Amber. Because Xaden kind of
I'm following the rules that you have laid out. I'm sorry if you have a problem with that or didn't make them specific enough.
So, exactly. So they go over, and she meets some dragons. And that's one thing I really like about this, is that they meet the dragons early. This isn't the first, maybe 250 pages of the book. And in the fields, they see this tiny gold dragon that is called a feather tail, because there are feathers on their tail with no claws. And they're a lot smaller than the other dragons.
This feels like a perfect misfit pairing.
Okay, so you have a theory that Violet is going to pair with the golden feather tail.
Yes.
Okay, why?
Because it's a fantasy trope.
Okay, keep going.
What's better than one underdog, a pair of underdogs, who also might happen to team up with a rebel leader? What?
Wow, I like that you bring in the tropes. You explain it to me. It's beautiful. I love it.
I'm here for it.
They climb the gauntlet, and they're able to match with a dragon. So they're in the field. You go around. Essentially, you have to have the dragon bond with you, and you're just gonna
dragon speed dating.
It's gonna come to you.
Okay. All right.
But there's a lot of people who want few dragons, and not all the dragons have to bond.
Yeah.
So there's 50 dragons, but only 20 of them could bond, because they're like, none of you are worthy of being on me.
Dragon speed dating. I stand by my statement.
Violet sees this gold feather tail again. She sees that there's some guys who are like, we just need to get rid of this fucking feather tail.
Why?
It's a weakling.
No.
It has no powers.
It's
it can't defend
it's
itself.
Unique.
It's rare. You don't ever see feather tails, and no one has ever bonded with a feather tail.
Well, this sounds like a match made in heaven.
So they're going to go and fight it, and Violet's like, I can't let them kill a fucking dragon. This is how we keep our magic. This is just I feel for her.
Strong moral opposition to killing a dragon. I support this position.
So Jack, the guy from the parapet, and two other guys who also have names, but we're not going to name them because there's a lot of names to keep up with. I'm not going to throw them at you.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of random dudes. Who cares?
Violet defends this dragon. She flings a knife into Jack's arm, and it hits him in the shoulder.
Yes, combat.
He immediately runs away. He's like, I still want to claim my own dragon. I'm abandoning this.
Yeah.
Another guy comes at her. It hits her. It knocks her knee out.
Oh no.
She
and now everyone knows.
So she knocks him to the ground. She's like, her knife, she's really good at throwing knives, knocks him to the ground. She hears a voice. And behind her is Xaden and his dragon, Sigales.
No. Now my potential enemy, arch nemesis, forbidden love interest. Is he coming to kill me? Is he coming to finish the job?
So this is part of what Violet thinks, but the third years have to watch just to make sure they can like count who's dead and make sure people are obeying the rules.
We have the adult supervision. They'll be there to bring back the bodies later.
It's just the seniors, you know, all the adults are back at camp.
Cool, great.
And,
hanging out with a few beers back there, taking bets.
And as she sees him, he yells, "Behind you!" And she turns around and sees this guy about to hit her, and she's able to stab him.
All right. Okay.
So one
bad
guy,
boy Xaden just like helped save her fucking life.
I know, and he's actually not supposed to interfere.
Oh.
Do you think yelling is interfering?
Absolutely.
Okay. Jack ran away, and there's this third person. She is hurt. She's out of knives. She has to physically fight against this Feathertail, who's not leaving. The Feathertail's staying there. And she's like...
So the whole time that this is happening and like her knee is going out, this guy is running away, somebody is getting like knifed. This dragon's just chilling.
The dragon has like no claws.
This dragon is like the ultimate soft boy and is just vibing. Just hanging out.
Kind of, yeah.
All right.
And so she's there. She's like, I'm going to fight hand to hand. And suddenly, a huge black dragon drops behind her.
Boom.
Huge.
Black dragons are super rare.
They are like rarer than blue dragons.
Oh, shit. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
And he tells her in her mind, like, get out of the way.
Oh. Telepathy dragon.
Uh-huh. And he burns the guy.
Like incinerates him. He's gone. With like flame or eyeballs flame, or like mental power?
Flame breathing onto this guy.
Yes. Amazing. Okay, so we're within the first half of the book, and we've already got a dragon roast. Nice. Of like a 20-year-old. Great. Well,
and so the black dragon wants to then take out the guy who's knocked out on the ground. And Violet says like,
Compassion,
no. So this dragon's name is Tairn. He's a longer name, but he goes by Tairn.
It's very hard for there to be sounds that you can pronounce with both a human mouth and a dragon mouth. They are very differently shaped.
Yeah, that's exactly what Tairn says, basically. There's now this black dragon, Tairn, and there's this gold Feathertail. What do you think is going to happen?
This black dragon did not get off his ass for nothing. He's probably going to be impressed with the fact that Violet has gone up against unequal odds to save a creature that may not be perceived as valuable. But I think he is there because she impressed him.
Violet did impress him. And Violet ends up bonding with both dragons.
Girl! Ah! Oh. Okay. So not only does she have a love triangle IRL of her dark and handsome rebel and her like childhood best friend, ultimate good boy, but she also has a dragon love triangle with her like soft, defenseless Feathertail and her fucking psionic powered black dragon. Damn, girl.
I don't know. Violet's cleaning up.
Damn, girl.
This is also the first time in Dragon Rider history that a person has bonded with 2 dragons.
Ooh, okay.
And do you remember me telling you that there weren't enough dragons for people?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that's going to piss some people off.
Oh, it's going to. They land in a field where everybody who's going to be a dragon rider. There's all these leaders there. Violet's mom is there. And Violet thinks that like her mom is going to be like super happy, right? Because she's proven to be a Sorrengail. She got 2 fucking dragons.
Yeah. Like, this is fucking unprecedented. Mom, be proud of me.
Violet's mom doesn't even look at her.
What was Violet's mom's motivation for sending Violet to school? Or what at this point do we think her motivation to be?
We kind of think she's looking for a replacement dragon rider because her oldest son died.
Okay. So we think she's just like essentially churning through her children in terms of like who can be in her guard.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of grief because her husband died, so Violet's dad is dead, and her brother died. So I think we kind of think that she's motivated by grief
and probably like carrying on the family legacy kind of thing. In which case, why would you ignore the kid who just fucking outperformed everyone and got 2 awesome dragons?
The Council of Dragons and the Council people have to decide if they will let Violet keep 2 dragons. So eventually it's decided that they will be allowed to stay. That's
How good of society to validate my relationship structure. Thank you so much. I needed that.
um so do you have a theory as to why maybe feather tails are so rare?
Um,
Because no one has ever bonded with a feather tail before.
Okay, so the human world seems to be very violent, unforgiving, military. Like, is the dragon world the same way? Do a lot of these feather tails just like not survive?
Mm,
That would be my theory.
the dragons want to keep feather tails alive. They're very protective of them.
Hmm. I don't know. Why?
It's because feather tails are babies.
Oh
So
no!
Andara is
Nobody ever bonded with a feather tail before because all the feather tails grow up.
yeah.
Ah!
Andara is 2 years old, and her parents both died.
Oh, sweetie.
So Tairn is like her adoptive dad.
Aw.
Uh-huh.
I love this. That's so cute.
This might be a good time to mention that Tairn also has a mate.
Okay.
Do you have any thoughts as to who Tairn's mate is?
Is it our bad boy Zayden's dragon?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
Scales.
Yes, it is. Okay.
So-
all right.
During this time when Violet was like fighting off the people, Sigales called Tairn and was like, I can't do anything, but they're trying to kill a fucking feather tail. And Tairn was like,
oh, that's why he stepped in.
Mhm.
Aw.
So this is a dragon secret, and so Violet doesn't know this yet.
Okay.
She's gonna
Does Zayden know this?
no.
Oh my god.
It's something that Violet is going to learn later.
Dane is looking like less and less interesting.
Maya, you have such a wonderful mind because Dane is so excited that she's alive. He kisses her, and Violet's like
in front of all these people? In front of my mom? You're gonna kiss me in front of my mom? Don't kiss me in front of my mom!
And her new giant dragon.
Yeah.
And Violet is like, I don't feel anything. Because Violet
It's like, well, this is fine, I guess. This is like, the society condoned like appropriate love. This is probably who her mom's gonna want her to marry.
possibly.
But now she's surprised when he kind of assumes that they were back where they were and kisses her.
Yes, because Dane is also a rule follower, and second years can't hook up with first
Capricorn
years.
boy.
So he kissed her, and she's like, that's weird. I don't really feel anything. Because Sigales and Terrence are mates. Do you remember what I told you about if riders die?
Yeah. If riders die, their dragons die, and vice versa.
Do you have any theories as to like what that can mean about Xaden and Violet's relationship?
I think he is going to. I think it's like, ooh, this is cool. Okay, I'm trying to think through this here.
Let's maybe like give you a point to start with.
Yeah.
If Violet dies, what could happen to Xaden?
He would die because his Violet's dragons could die, at which point presumably those dragons' mates may die. And then Xaden would die. Or alternatively, if Violet dies, is Xaden like the next most powerful person? Is he suddenly going to be involved in this dragon family? Would they like choose him?
I don't think they would rebond because
Okay.
one of the things about Tairn is that this is going to be his third rider.
So he is likely to die if Violet dies. And I'm sure this pisses a lot of people off because they look at her and they see just like a scrawny, weak person.
Yeah.
Right. And they underestimate her, presumably, it sounds like.
I ever told you like how hot you are?
Oh, thank you.
Look at this. You just like your critical thinking brain just went like in. Like, wow. This is awesome. This is the red arc I've been wanting.
Yay!
So Xaden now has to keep Violet alive. And he's putting people on her team. Like he assigns this guy Liam to her team. By the way, we love Liam. He's very fun. Liam and him are like brothers. He's on her wing now. He assigns somebody from like the rebels to help her strength train. So she's getting stronger. Her connective tissue isn't falling off as much.
Yep.
But again, people want to kill her.
Mhm.
And so one night,
But she also like has, it sounds like, some rebels watching her back.
some rebels watching her back. Yeah, because they all love Xaden. They don't
Mhm.
want him to die. So like,
Mhm.
we have to take care of this fucking Sorengale girl who murdered all our parents.
This fucking bitch.
Uh-huh.
That
Not
that
she-
sounds very upsetting. That sounds quite conflicting and upsetting, and also like a really good recipe for like a trusted guard to put a knife in someone's back regardless. Anyway,
'Cause
moving on.
Xaden could take the chance and like kill her, but it wouldn't look really good for Scales.
Yeah.
Dragon.
Oh, his dragon would be so mad. Oh, what a bind. What a bind.
Yeah. So one night while Violet is sleeping, she is attacked by 6 people who get in through her door. The only people who can open people's doors is wing leaders and the own cadet.
Like, so the cadet whose room it is, or their wing leader.
Or a wing leader.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, I don't remember Amber.
Fucking Amber.
Lets in these 6 people.
Bitch.
These
This bitch,
Uh-huh.
Amber. We're going to cut her.
These 6 unbonded people come in. They try to kill her, but Violet is wearing her vest to sleep because she wears that she is.
Yeah, she knows what's up. She is a
Um,
canny lady.
And Violet starts to fight them all off when suddenly everything pauses. She's like, I can move, but everybody else is paused. She hears in her mind, she hears Andara. And Andara's going, run, run, run. And then she hears Taryn like, hold on, he's coming. Hold on, he's coming. So she's injured. She's trying to move. Andara cannot hold these people forever. And as Violet like gets to the door, everybody releases and they're gonna attack her when Xaden walks in.
Yes.
And his face is murderous.
Yes.
There's storm clouds coming off of him. His power is darkness.
Yes.
He envelops the room.
Amazing.
In darkness.
I feel like a real like Shadow and Bone moment
Mhm.
here.
He kills
All right.
all 6 of them in an instant. And Violet.
Damn.
Violet wants to ask for mercy, and he's like, "They're trying to kill you."
No room for mercy here.
One of my favorite lines that I've recently heard from a musical is, "Ruthlessness is mercy upon ourselves."
Oh, that's good.
Isn't that hot?
That's great.
Oh,
Okay.
That is from the musical Epic. If everybody wants to look that up, it's about the Odysseus.
Oh, okay.
And it's Poseidon singing. It's so, I'm going to play it for you later. It's
excellent.
like,
Wonderful. Awesome. Amazing. Okay. But it feels like at this moment too, Xaden is also being set up as like her moral polar opposite, right? Like he is darkness itself. And he is like hard and unmerciful, where she is compassionate and empathetic.
I think we're going to get some more nuance into his character, but that is how it's being set up. Yes.
Great. Okay.
That's a wonderful observation. He murders all the people, and then he takes Violet to see the dragons because he's like, we need to go see Andara. You things need to be explained to you a little bit.
Just like you are too unaware of what's happening for your own good right now.
Yeah. So this is where she learns about the mating bond. This is where she learns about how Xaden stepped in. This is when she learns about Andara being a baby.
Okay. All right.
So I've given you a lot of pre-knowledge.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
The next day, Xaden puts Amber on trial and is like, she allowed for 6 people.
Whoa. He killed all the people in the room. Amber wasn't in the room. She's just like the bitch that let them in.
Mhm.
She's just the bitch that left the door unlocked.
Yeah, she leaves
Man,
during
fuck
it.
this. Fuck her.
I know, she sucks.
All right, she's on trial.
But Dane is like, no. Like, no wing leader would do that. It's against the rules. And he reaches up to touch Violet's face. And Violet flinches away.
She doesn't want him to read her love for Xaden.
She doesn't want him to read her mind because Dane just showed he didn't trust Violet's word.
Oh, no.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you don't want to let that fucker in your head.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't trust my word, why would I trust you in my brain?
Taryn the dragon is able to project Violet's memory.
Wonderful.
And it shows Amber.
I love a psionic dragon. We stan a psionic.
What does a psionic mean?
Mental energy. So if you do like a mind blast at someone, that is psionic energy.
So all the dragons kind of have some psionic energy. That's not ever given very strict rules.
Yeah.
So like this
I
is
tend to use psionic energy as like some kind of umbrella within which is like telekinesis or like telepathy, the clairs, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the dragons all have some psionic gifts. I don't know if they can all project things like this because Taryn is like very old.
Daddy. Daddy Taryn.
Amber, who has a dragon, is then sentenced to death.
Wait, so what about her dragon?
Oh, it's very sad. The dragon is like, crying. Violet wants to give mercy, and Taryn's like, no, this is how things are done.
Again, this seems like a really good way to not have a lot of people in your society or like to lose your resources.
Mhm.
Like dragons are this fucking rare and you're just gonna like probably kill one by killing its rider. Like this seems like it does not adequately appreciate the value of draconid life. Okay.
I appreciate this because this was my thought through the whole thing, that just because something is weak feels like a really weak argument, I guess,
Mhm.
to be like, this is why we're killing people.
Do you think that that's the point of the book and having a openly disabled main character to make you think about that point?
Oh, interesting. Busy bookworms, chime in. As far as we know, Amber's dragon does not die, but Amber is incinerated by Taryn.
Ooh, okay.
It's a lot.
We're just like, she's just like standing in a hall full of her peers who have judged her and gets burnt to death. Like, I'm imagining, like, it feels like with the world building that is happening here, it feels like this would happen in a very like melodramatic, theatrical way. Like, as the sun is setting, you reach the ritual time and like the incineration occurs.
Sure.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just like trying to get a sense of like if this is a big moment or if this is just like Tuesday.
Kind of Tuesday.
Damn.
I mean,
okay.
it's a big moment, and that like accusing another wing leader is huge, but like somebody being killed is like they read every morning. They read the list of the dead.
Damn. Okay. All right.
Because there's these like psionic abilities, and like Violet can talk to Taryn, Sagail can connect with Xaden. One day, Taryn and Sagail are getting kind of frisky.
Ooh, we have dragon sex.
Uh-huh.
Wait, is there dragon sex in this book before there's human sex?
Yes.
Damn. Okay, let's go.
Well, I guess there's before human sex of Violet and Xaden. There's lots of sex having other places.
Oh, okay, cool.
So she starts to feel like really, really hot. She's like, oh my God, what is happening? I feel like I'm burning up inside. Oh my God. And so she runs outside and she sees Xaden, who is like, you feel
Do they fuck when their dragons fuck?
You're gonna wait. So Xaden's like, you feel it too. And she's like, it's hot. Like, how can you stand this? And Xaden's like, I've been having to deal with this for like 3 years. He is smoking something that is like fantastical for weed.
Great.
Essentially. So Xaden starts to teach her how to block things out of her mind, because he's like, Taryn doesn't have to have full access to you all the time. You can learn to block a little bit. And so he's teaching her this, but they're getting a little closer, and they kiss. And Violet is like, this is a really hot kiss. But Xaden pulls away and he says, this is just the dragons. It's not you. We need to calm down.
I see.
We love a consent king.
A very classic, like, well, if this is just like mind control or like psionic energy from somebody else, does it count?
So just horny, or are we actually together? I don't know.
When you can't tell if it's you or your dragon that's horny.
I mean, it's the issue I have all the time, let me tell you.
All right,
Okay.
all right. So they kiss, pulls away.
Goes to sleep. Yeah, they leave.
Just like, bye.
Bye.
Later.
Yeah, so Violet leaves. Do you have any questions about dragon powers?
I suspect I will in about 2 minutes.
So here's the thing. So, you know, Dane has powers. Xaden has powers. Are you curious about Violet's powers?
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. I would think that she either has some other really cool brain powers because of her connection with Taryn, or she has nascent powers that we don't know about yet because of her connection with Le Bébé, whose name I have forgotten.
Andara.
Andara.
So one of the things to keep in mind is that everybody actually can mind connect with their power, with their dragon.
No, but like clearly her dragon can do like fucking stopping time and shit.
Oh yeah, Andara did do that.
Okay. Wait, Andara stopped time. Okay.
Mhm.
So Andara has like fucking time power.
Yes.
Ooh.
So the thing
okay.
with Andara, since she's a baby, we don't know if these powers will stay forever. Violet can't really use them because Andara is like 2 years old. And if you use too much of her power, she could die.
Is 2 years old like human 2 years old where they can't form words? Or is 2 years old like, no, I'm an adolescent or young adult incapable of acting on my
Oh,
own?
no. Andara is like childlike.
Okay.
Like she maybe is not a 2-year-old toddler.
But maybe like elementary school.
Yeah, she's definitely a baby. Like she is a child.
Oh my God, dragon puberty is going to be fascinating.
Oh, I didn't even think about it as a theory for the next book. That's a great theory. Apparently, it's supposed to be like 6 books. So I'm a little mad that I've gotten into this on book 1. One of the things about powers manifesting is that if your power has like 6 months to manifest, or else it could kill you.
Ooh, okay.
And some people, when their powers manifest, it does like drive them to insanity. Like somebody does get a instructor kills him on the spot because he's not gonna be able to handle it.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. It's like he's like, that was merciful.
Yeah, no. Telepathy sounds like a rough one in most franchises, in most conceptions.
So Violet has not had hers come yet. Taryn keeps telling her like, you're not ready for that yet.
Okay. But it has to come within the next 6 months. What happens if it doesn't? Like it just, I don't know, like cooks her from inside instead of manifesting externally?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it. Yeah, you're
All
there.
Okay.
So they are playing capture the flag with an egg. It's a wing leader exercise. It's a training exercise. Blah, 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 blah. It's a way for them to play capture the flag and ride their dragons and test all their skills.
So they have dragon eggs, but they don't know that Feathertails are baby dragons? Like, do they ever see the eggs hatch? This feels like it might be a plot hole.
No. It was like a fake dragon egg.
Oh, okay, great.
It's just like pretty.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Great.
Sorry. You remember our good buddy Jack?
Jack from the what's the word?
Feathertail.
No.
The parapet?
There we go.
Yes. So he is targeting Violet. He is like, I want to take her down. I want to kill her.
Mercy was clearly the wrong choice for this guy.
Mercy was the wrong choice for him. And Liam, who was assigned to guard her, is on her tail, and he's also trying to fight off Jack. But Jack's dragon manages to like clutch Liam's dragon, and it's like scraping its belly, and Jack is like gonna stab Liam, like he's on the other dragon.
Oh no!
And trying to attack Liam. Liam and his dragon are falling, and they are falling, and Violet temporarily uses Andara's powers to freeze time so Taryn can catch them. And then Violet is so mad. She is so angry at Jack. She is like, fuck this dude.
Yeah.
She conjures lightning.
Yes.
And she incinerates Jack.
Oh, damn.
Jack is now dead.
And presumably his dragon may follow him.
But this dragon has had 6 riders, so I don't know if this dragon has a lot of bonds.
This dragon does not have a great track record. This dragon maybe needs to talk with a therapist about some of their subconscious patterns of attachment.
That's actually a good point. This dragon picks a lot of reckless people.
Okay.
Violet is very upset that she's killed Jack. Like, she's someone who has avoided death at all chances. She's given Mercy whenever she can. She asked for Amber to be spared. She's now killed Jack in anger.
This is a big emotional moment, a reckoning.
Yes. So she lands back. Dane is like holding her and like cupping her face and being like, it's okay. And Zayden's like, don't fucking tell her it's okay. Like, don't do that. And Dane's like, what would you know? And Zayden's like, she's gonna have to kill again. You can't promise her that she's never gonna have to do this again when she has fucking lightning powers and a black dragon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with the realism here. Like, this is not a world in which you get to live in a fairy tale forever. Like, just the world building of the series so far has shown that.
And Zayden's like, stop coddling her. Like, you keep trying to limit her. And like, she's just shown that she's powerful. Like, we need to use that.
Yeah. It feels like Dane is really like thinking of her as the person she was before she started on this journey.
Oh my God, you're just the smartest person I know.
Incorrect, but go on.
So she's in her room. She's not really moping, but she's dealing with the grief of having killed somebody. Xaden comes up to come talk to her. He knocks on the door. He talks to her about like how amazing she is and how wonderful she is, and that compassion is a really good quality in her.
We love some romancing. We love some compliments.
And it's just been a really emotional day. And she's like, I can't hold myself back anymore. And she kisses him.
Yes. Okay. Do we know if this is them being horny or they're dragons?
It's them. But I'm sure that it's reciprocal that if they're horny, their dragons are horny.
This just feels like a hot feedback loop.
Let me tell you, there's been pining. There's been talks of how hot Xaden is. There's been like these intimate, close moments.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been 450 pages in the making, and it is worth every single page. Like, let me tell you, it is intense. It is loving, but it is also like hot.
Amazing.
And it's
amazing.
I won't give it into all the details for this podcast of what happens. I think you should read the book and get to this point. It was very well worth it, but it's a good time.
All right. Excellent.
So now they are finally kind of a secret couple. So
yes, because if they're found out, he will get in trouble or she will get in trouble. Both.
Plus, I think it's not good logistics for a Sorrengail to be dating the leader of the rebels.
I mean,
the rebel children.
The defeated leader of the rebel children, right? Like,
yes.
This is no longer an active war. This is in the like post-revolution period when we're kind of like talking about them as like dirty rebel scum, right?
Yes, but the adults still don't look fondly on it, and like her mom's definitely not gonna be cool with that. Because remember, his dad killed her brother.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yes. Forbidden love.
And now that since they've kind of accepted their own bond together, they are learning how to mind talk through their own bond via Tairn and Sgaeyl.
Excellent. Ooh, I love this.
Mm-hmm. This ball comes where Violet has to be at this giant party that is a celebration of the rebels' defeat.
Which is not at all going to be traumatic for the rebel children in the room who have literally been branded as outcasts. And this celebrates their parents being killed? Cool. Yeah. Love that. So, this sounds like fun.
All the writers are, not all the writers, but all the writers in training are there. And so is Violet's mom. And Violet's mom makes this comment, General Sorrengail, where she's like, oh, you're hanging out with a rebel, because she sees Liam there with Violet. And Violet's like, yeah, like, he's cool. And General Sorrengail does not appreciate that.
And she doesn't even know yet that, like, her daughter's fate is now entwined with the rebel leader's son's fate.
Yeah, they don't know that.
Wait, how was General Mama there on like the field after the dragons were bonded with the humans and doesn't realize yet this like family dynamic and new link between?
Because it's all a secret.
Oh fuck.
Only like 2 people know about how Sgaeyls and Tairn are connected. Actually, that's not 100% true. Because it is known that Sgaeyls and Tairn are connected, because like at one point Xaden has to follow Violet somewhere because Sgaeyl is like, oh fuck y'all, I'm not gonna wait for my fucking mate, like I'm a dragon.
Make me
exactly. So people know that they're connected, but I don't think they know how connected.
Okay, all right.
And nobody knows about baby dragon.
Okay, so we show up at the party. Mom's there. We're celebrating her grand military victory and expect all the kids whose parents were killed during that to just be super happy about it, it sounds like. All right, this is not at all bad. You know what? I'm kind of getting a vibe here because I know that we are the first book of multiple, up to 6. At the end of this book, is this where we like do a turn where Violet maybe supports the rebellion over her mother's military dictatorship.
Oh, interesting theory. So, and this ball kind of marks the last like event before their final commission. So there's going to be one more thing that marks the end of the year that really says like they are second years or third years can graduate. And so it is, they don't know what it is. They just know it's going to be a final test that they're going to have to do with their wing.
Okay.
Again, Violet's mom is there. And so is Dane's dad, because Dane's dad is like high up in the military. And Violet's mom makes a comment about how like, oh, like Dane's like a good boy. Like he always follows the rules. And Violet's like, okay. All right, mom, like Dane is cool, thanks.
Ooh, I sense a setup. I sense a match made.
Ooh,
is mom going to announce that Violet and Dane are getting married?
No.
Oh, damn.
Well,
okay.
So Violet leaves the party early. She's like, this is dumb. I've done what I can. I hate that Liam has to be here because of me. And she goes to find Xaden, who's missing. And one of the head people had made this comment. So King Tauri is the king of Navarre. And he's at this reunification ball. Violet's mom is there. And also is one of his great strategists who can see the future.
Okay. All right.
Not far into the future. He has to be able to like see someone to see the future. But he can kind of see the outcomes of battles, and he's not sent into war because he's a really rare gift. They're like, we're not willing to risk this.
Ooh, he's gonna see like Violet or Xaden or someone and like have a moment.
Well, so Xaden's not at the party. And
oh shit, that's right.
And this guy makes a comment like, where's that Riorsan boy? Like, what is happening? And Violet, it kind of stands up for him and is like, well, like, you know, he's a wing leader. He's probably busy. Like, he's a third year.
He doesn't want to come to this fucking party if you celebrating killing his family and cause. Okay.
So she goes and finds him, and he's on the parapet. And she goes to him, and she's like, hey, like, I love you. I'm committed to this. I'm committed to us. And he's like, Violet, go away. Like, this is not like the time. And she's like, no. You care for everybody around you. You care for these rebel children. You made this agreement to keep the rebel children alive. There's a party today that's like celebrating the death of your father. Like, you need someone to care for you. And I love you. And it's one of the things about this book that I really like that she said it first. I think there's a lot of fantasy books where the guy has this big declaration of love.
Yeah.
And she's over here being like, I love you. I want you here. I'm committed to this. Like, fuck what everybody else thinks.
Yeah, which is amazing and brave and incredible. And I wish we like normalized everybody saying it first, because saying that first is fucking hard and feels really fucking vulnerable. How does he respond? He like doesn't seem to care.
He cries. We love a lovely guy who's like, he's like having a hard day. He leans on her. And he just is like so enveloped by her. So she takes him back to his room. She cares for him, and then he cares for her. Bow chicka wow wow.
I hope he uses his tongue.
I will not say on this podcast. I can say, well, you would not be disappointed.
Wonderful. Great. Wonderful.
So as they're in the middle of the night.
Okay, but why was he on the parapet?
He's being moody.
Oh, all right.
In the middle of the night, there suddenly comes a banging at their door where it's like, pump, 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 pump. And they say, hey, Navarre is being attacked. We all need to
go. Okay, fuck. Okay. Shit. All right. I guess we're doing this.
So they race down. Violet's dress is ruined, so she's wearing like Xaden's jacket, which isn't very subtle.
No, girl. Yeah. Girl. And this was secret, huh?
Yeah, so she's down there. They're all reporting for duty. And they're like, actually, this is a drill. This is the last contest. You are all going to be sent to these different stations or bases, and you have a challenge there. And it's like probably to defend the base, right? So Violet gets ready to go, and Xaden moves Violet off of Dane's team to his team.
I mean, yeah, if their dragons are so bound, then like, why you can't fight each other?
Well, so they're not going to fight each other. There's going to be some sort of challenge. We don't really know what the challenge is.
But, like, in case the challenge is fighting each other.
They need to be together, yeah. So, in Dane's, he's like, no. Like, Violet, stay with me. And Xaden's like, no, I'm your wing leader. Dane, like, set the fuck down.
Pick me, pick me.
And so Dane is like, his hand is on Violet, and suddenly he's
reading her.
He's looking between the two, and he goes, Xaden? Really?
You motherfucker. That was not agreed to, okay?
And so then Dane looks at Violet and is like, it was nice knowing you.
Well, fuck you too then.
Yeah, fuck you too.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So Violet goes with Xaden. She's like, I will solve the...
Whom's the fuck does this man think he is?
Something really interesting about Xaden's team is it's all rebel children.
Are they running away?
And so Violet and Xaden, they go and they're following their locations, and they're going to this base.
Are they running away?
They go to a base that is over the wards. Like all of the magical protected wards where there is like real danger that lies outside the wards. And
are they being used as bait?
So as they land in this village, there are these Griffin riders that land.
The fuck are you doing here?
That's what Violet said. She's like, oh my god, we have to fight these Griffin riders because they're our enemies. And Xaden's like, no. Like, the Griffin riders are early. And Violet's like, what do you mean they're early?
Hoomst.
And the Griffin riders start talking about weapons with all of the rebel children.
The rebels were in cahoots with the Griffin riders. This is a much larger, like, continental war that our friend has just found herself in the middle of.
So,
and a very important player as, like, a powerful dragon rider and daughter of the fucking military dictator general. I keep saying it's a military dictatorship. Navarre has a king, so it's less like that. But, you know.
It kind of is.
I don't know what terms to use for fantasy political structures, okay?
I think it's great. I think you're doing great. So she is like, she's confronting Xaden. She feels betrayed. And she's like, how could you do this to me? Like, how could you be working with them? Like, you are a rebel. You are evil. Like, why are you doing this? And Xaden's like, you don't know what things are like outside of Navarre. You don't know the things that our parents fought for. I couldn't tell you all of this because, like, you're not mind shielded enough to know everything. Like, I want to tell you, but, like, how do I tell you this?
So he gives her the, like, oh, sweet summer child, you do not know because you have lived a life of infinite privilege as one of the general's children and as a scribe in your, like, I don't know, fucking library cellar. And there is some bigger shit going on here that you do not know about.
Yeah, he's like, Violet, like, part of the reason I love you is because you are smart. Like, think about this. Like, think about what you know. And she comes to the realization that, like, yes, something is corrupt. What is happening? Like, putting rebel children in is awful, but she still doesn't forgive Xaden. She's like, I feel incredibly betrayed right now by everything that's happening. And Xaden's like, this is like weird that they're sending us to this place that I have previously told you, Violet, that we've been going to. Because, like, she's been a little bit involved in, like...
Oh, yeah. What? It's a trap!
So, I would like to give you something to read, Maya.
All right. All right. War Games for Xaden Riorson, wing leader of 4th Wing. I recognize the handwriting. How could I not when I've seen it all my life? Who's speaking in this? Is this Violet? Great. That's from Colonel Atis. What does it say? Garrick asks, folding his arms over his chest. What's our assignment? Guys, I see something just past the trading post, Leon says from the battlement. Oh, shit. Xaden's face drains of all color, and he crumples the missive in his fist before looking at me. It says our mission is to survive if we can.
Ooh. So.
It's a trap!
It's a trap. And.
This is, what, like 30 pages from the end of the book?
30 pages from the end of the book.
Oh, shit!
Yeah.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit, guys! Oh, shit!
Do you wonder maybe why it's a trap? Like, how do they know to set this up for the rebels? Like, why would they do that?
Because it really does feel like there's been a ton of tension brewing in this, and like at some point, like the rebel children have already been these like kind of underdogs, kind of underclass folks, and like there's already a ton of stress and tension around like the conflict around their existence. 1 year is a special anniversary. Like it feels almost like this is kind of like naturally been building there, unfortunately, which is like really fucking heartbreaking and also really great story writing.
Great story writing. I love this analysis. Do you remember earlier I told you that General Sorengale made an interesting comment about somebody?
Dane.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What'd you say about Dane?
That Dane seems like a good guy. Did Dane set them up? He said it's been nice knowing you. Oh no. This motherfucker.
He's been reading Violet's mind the whole time.
Oh, this cunt just like pretended he couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
So there's been lots of scenes where he's been touching her face, and reading her mind without her consent.
Because we thought he could only do it if he touched her face. Or like she thought she would feel him do it, and she trusted him to like not do it without her knowledge.
That's exactly it.
Oh, this motherfucker. So wait, did he know it was a trap from the beginning? Like, did he put her into his team so like hoping she would kill the guy who he perceives as his love rival, not knowing the bond between their dragons?
Dane wanted Violet on his team because he knew that Xaden was going to be sent on this trap mission, and he wanted Violet to stay alive because he loves her.
Well.
And Xaden took Violet with him, so he said, nice knowing you.
Did anybody else know that this was the situation? That this was going to be a trap?
I think all the higher-ups knew it was going to be a trap.
Oh, no.
So Xaden and them have two options. They could flee and go back to the wards, or they could defend this town that is under attack from a wyvern.
A wyvern? Wyvern.
There are wyvern, which are controlled by venom, and they were made to compete with dragon. But how dragons give their powers to humans, these wyvern, like the venom has to channel their power into the wyvern, which makes them like chaotic and makes them a little evil because venom are like corrupted and stuff, and it's magic.
Okay. So they are in the middle of this trap and also see a nearby village being attacked and know that as good dragon riders, it is their job to help defend these people.
Yes. These wyvern were also probably called there to specifically wipe out the rebel children.
Oh, shit. So this implies then that somebody within the hierarchy of the academy and within like the leadership of Navarre has a connection with these people who are kind of seen as corrupt, and B is working with them in order to wipe out what seems like a group of underdogs. And that seems like some real shady shit.
I love your theories. These are great. So this is what we're gonna add. The Griffin Riders decide that they are going to defend this village. They're like, we know that you rebel children have like a long-standing fight. You might have to go back because there's more that you can do, but we need to defend these people. The Dragon Riders decide to say, they're like, we're going to fight. And one of the things that we've learned in this is that lightning and like fire can kill
wyvern,
yes.
Oh yeah, light 'em up.
Violet can't super control it yet, right? Like it's hard to tell lightning
so this
where
could like
to go.
Kill anyone.
Yes. Yeah. So she's trying really hard, but she's like channeling to ask lightning to kill something like in one spot is hard.
Yes.
And Andara like she can't use Andara's power because Andara's a baby. It's a huge fight that's actually really beautifully written that we can't get into all of it because it's a lot.
And then Liam dies, and it's really sad, and Violet's like holding him as he's like his dragon's dying, so he's dying, and she is distraught by this because like obviously she feels like she wants to do more, and so then she starts going really hard with the lightning. Like she is throwing it everywhere, and she doesn't have great aim, but like it's also lightning, so it will eventually strike.
Eventually, like Violet uses too much of her powers, and she ends up like collapsing.
Oh no.
And when she wakes up, she's in this like really old fucking castle. She's like, where the hell am I? Well, so she's been tended to And this turns out it's like the rebels' base. It used to be Xaden's old home.
Aw.
So they're still working out of it. And Xaden is talking to Violet and she's upset and she's making all these things. And then suddenly there's a knock on the door. And like Xaden is asking for forgiveness. Like, I fucked up. I should have told you. Like, I'm so sorry. I'll tell you anything you want to know and everything you don't. Like, I will spend all my life like trying to get back your trust. But like, what we have is real and I love you. And so here's a knock on the door again.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, that guy's impatient. You have 20 seconds to ask a question if I know him. And she's like, okay, my question for you is, do you think there's any chance we just happen to end up in the middle of a wyvern attack at the outpost? Like, do you think that it's possibly an accident? And the voice from the door goes, that definitely wasn't an accident, little sister.
Uh-oh.
Who do you think it is?
I think it is her big brother, the one that Xaden supposedly killed, and that he is secretly alive and has been alive all this time.
Brennan. It's her brother.
Oh, fuck yeah, because Xaden's actually a good guy.
And Brandon says, welcome to the revolution, Violet.
The moral of the story is always join the rebellion.
And that's the end of Fourth Wing.
Okay, I know we only got into like part of this book because this is a giant fucking book. And also we've been talking for a really long time and it's really good. And we still haven't covered all of it.
I know.
I do kind of want to read this book.
I know you know a lot of it, but there's so much in here that you haven't heard and understood.
Excellent.
It's really good. It also, I would say the first 100 pages are a little hard to get into. It reads a lot like a regular fantasy book.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, pretty good.
I also so I don't mind a romantic subplot, but that's not why I'm reading most of my books.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned that there was a political machination and some intrigue that we weren't getting into. And so that is also really interesting to me.
And I think the second book's going to pick up on a lot of that, especially as it's established the romance of the first book.
Okay.
The second book's going to be like...
So we've established the romantic stakes. And the next book then, have you read the second book?
No, I have not. I'm going to read the second book after, now that I've told you about this book, because I was so obsessed with it. I was like, I can't get my plot lines crossed.
Amazing. So your prediction then for the second book is that the second book then goes into this broader continental conflict rather than the kind of schoolyard coming of age, who am I romance and world building.
Well, yeah, I think that is exactly right. But also Violet has to go back to the academy. She's only in first year.
Oh,
so
shit.
She has to do her second year, and Xaden's graduating.
Oh, shit.
So
and presumably there are also other rebel kids who survived this attack who have to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this could be some weird fucking shit.
Right, because they can't let people know that they're one actually rebels and there's a revolution, right? They're still working in secret.
Oh my god, they're still playing the part of the we have been beaten and we are we are here at your mercy, while also planning to overthrow the government, and I'm here for it.
That's exciting. So, Maya, I know I didn't necessarily ask this, but you have any final thoughts?
I think I'm going to read the book.
Oh my god, wow. See, if you listen to this podcast, you should still read the book. I'm Wiley, and this is All My Friends Are Reading.
Yay! Thank you!
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to keep the conversation going, you can head over to our TikTok and Instagram at All My Friends Are Reading. Please share this episode with your friends. Leave us 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening to. And until next time, stay busy, bookworms.